feels weird. You can hear yourself back here on the speakers up here. Okay, I've got my phone just because I've got little notes. I didn't bring my glasses, so I probably can't even read what you guys are seeing up on the slide. So a little bit about me, for those of you who don't know me, I've been a coach for 3.5 years. I was a challenger first. I was someone who said no to coaching 3 times when asked before I said, okay, let's try it. And my original goal was to make $97 a month to replace the cost of my Shakeology. I was a 3rd grade teacher. I taught in public school, then went on to private, and was staying home with my daughter, subbing to make some extra income, knew I was going to have to go back eventually, and didn't want to do that. So this was how I was going to make it work. I am an anxiety-ridden person by nature, so speaking in a big platform is always nerve-wracking for me. I did not have social media. That's something I want to tell people. A lot of times I hear coaches say, well, I don't have a great following, or I don't have Instagram, or my Facebook is private, I don't like taking selfies, like whatever it is that you hear. I had Facebook 6 months. I created my Facebook 6 months before I became a coach. It was very private. I had no Instagram, and when I did create that, that was also set to private. So growing that took time, and I'm just here to tell you guys that you can do that too, if that's your kind of hiccup, or where you're kind of feeling your excuses creep in. And my thing is obviously kids. I've got 2 kids, one is here. Fashion, coffee, food, and fitness. So that's kind of like my thing and my brand. She's on it. Okay. So why is social media worth perfecting? We're going to talk a little bit about why it's worth it, and then I'm going to share with you just some things may seem very basic, but you're speaking to such a different audience. Some people are just getting started on social media, and some of you may feel like social media gurus. So I'm trying to kind of hit all levels there. But you have an infinite number of people to serve. So if you're talking face-to-face with people, the number in the room who have heard about Beachbody or are interested in fitness or what you have to say is very limited. But when you are on a platform like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Pinterest or whatever it is that's your thing, you have such a wide range of people to reach. There are different audiences, obviously, on different platforms, and I'm going to show you guys that soon, kind of how different my following is on different platforms. But you're going to have such a different group of people that you can talk to on each one. So find what works for you and master those specific platforms. Your share capabilities are endless, okay? So we can talk word of mouth all we want, but having a live video go viral, or a funny post that you do, I don't know if you guys saw, I forget the coach's name, who did like the push it. She was like doing some workout, and then she did the push it, and she like started dancing, and then it was like millions and millions of people, and now she's got all these people following her and all this traction. It only takes the one thing. The other thing is your location does not matter. You know, if you're someone who's always on the go, or you know, you feel like you're busy, a busybody, or you're traveling a lot, or whatever it is. I worked my business with social media from our couch and our coffee table on my phone for like the first 6 months of my business. We had an old computer that was not working, and so I didn't really even have a laptop. I didn't have the money to invest in that, and that's where these little handheld devices and social media are great for what we do. And I'm going to share just little quotes from Jab, 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 Right Hook. I know we mentioned that book already, but if you guys were at Summit, Gary Vaynerchuk, that's how you say his last name, it's a weird last name. He's amazing. If you don't follow him and his likes page on Facebook, do, because he's so motivating, and there are actually a lot of things you can share with your team that are going to help as far as how to work social media. But all of the quotes that I'm sharing are from that book. And this one is like, social media is like crack. It's immediately gratifying and hugely addictive, which can be very good for your business or very bad for your business if you're someone who's constantly addicted to checking your social media. All right. So here I'm continuing on to kind of show you guys the platforms that I use, okay? So I don't get on Twitter. I share Pinterest sometimes, but it's not like my go-to. My go-to are Instagram. It took forever for me to build and get traction there, but I didn't stop. The other was my personal Facebook page, and then that one on the right is my likes page. So to show you guys the changes there and the differences, I tried to, and I'll share these slides in the Super Sunday page so that you can see them up close and share them with your teams, and you're not feeling like you're having to take pictures that are blurry. But the arrows that I have on the personal page, I want to show you guys are my friends. So the friends at the top, you're limited on your personal page to 5,000 friends. So I'm getting close to the cap there as far as friends go on your personal page. If you are a coach, tell your coaches to follow other coaches. Don't friend them, because you're still able to talk to them, engage with them, see their stuff, but you're not taking up what I guess you would call like your space for your business side of things. So you can keep that for your challengers and your followers and people who you're trying to make connections with. If you look down here though, at the very bottom, which is obviously you can't read it, there's like 4,700 people following me. So it's about the same amount that are friends with me are following. So the follow option is huge. If you don't have that set as a possible or a capability on your personal page, do that so that people can have the option to follow you. They can click to see your information first and all that sort of thing. The other thing in the middle, okay, on the left side, I have linked my likes page to my personal page. If you have a likes page, it is hard to build. It takes time. It is a whole other audience, a whole different reach. It can be frustrating for any coach because the algorithm for Facebook changes constantly, and the algorithm for a likes page is different than your personal. So link it to your personal page and invite people there often. So make sure they have a way to click over to your likes page and see it. Otherwise, you're kind of like, you're just backpedaling constantly. Make it easier for them. That one in the middle, Instagram, you guys just came out with like the business account. And I know a lot of people are like, do I change it to business? Do I keep it like the way it was before? Some people had different opinions about that. I will tell you, I loved switching it to this business account. And the reason for that is if you look at, it's so hard to see on there, you're allowed to look at your followers. So you can see what gender percentage follows you, what city they're living in, when they're most on social media. Like, that's a no-brainer. You want to know this information as a coach, right? We're always talking about like, when's the best time for traction? When's the best time for people to see your posts? If I look down there on the blue lines, this is a Thursday screenshot that I did. I'm obviously not going to post at like 6 or 7 or 8 a.m. because my followers that follow me are not really on there at 6 and 7 and 8 a.m. They're on there at 3, 4, and 5, which is around the time that you're like bored at work and ready to get off, right? And then 7, 8, and 9 is my big platform for posting if I'm talking about challenge groups or the coaching opportunity. I can look at this quickly and see it, and it gives me that for Monday through Sunday. The other thing is it tells you your top posts. So I was talking to my husband and I thought, okay, I need to check and see, because sometimes I feel like I don't want to take all selfies because it just feels weird, and you want to share food because you think it looks pretty, or whatever it is. So we went through and I was looking at the top posts, and my top posts were always the posts that I hated doing. They were the transformation posts, they were the progress picture posts, like the post-baby stomach. They were pictures of my face. And so we quickly realized the top traction are the ones that are the scariest. So we have to remind our coaches to always be sharing the scary things, because at least for my followers, that's what they want to see. When I'm looking at all the ones that have, like, it tells you top rated to bottom, the food and the ones without me are always at the bottom, which are the ones I'm most comfortable with. But you got to stick with what your followers like. And then the other one over there is the likes page, which also gives you insight as well. It tells you how many people are seeing you, how many people are clicking on your website, that sort of thing. And there's 20,000 followers on my likes page. And so there's about 18,000 fresh faces over there that aren't even connected with me on my personal page. So the amount of people you can reach there is unreal, you guys. Okay. I'm getting texts, my dad's out of town. This is totally off subject, but he's wanting me to record something about Leonardo DiCaprio. Like that. I'll be there in just a second. Okay, so first, what's your brand? You gotta figure out your brand, okay? When people go to your page, the first thing that they're gonna look for is you. What do you look for? What do you look like? What do you love? Why are they gonna follow you over someone else's page? So look at your cover photo, okay, and see, like, how can you make it cute? I used PicMonkey to do mine. Nothing fancy. The more you use it, the more you get used to it. It's pretty simple, really, and you can really brand yourself with your cover photo. The other is your profile picture, which I'm gonna show some like bloopers of that. It needs to be you, not someone else. Similar color and filter for your posts and pictures. I don't know about you, but I'm very attracted to like an Instagram page that is very like, it's all the same almost. If everybody's pictures look very different all the time, I don't know why, it just throws me off, and I love like going to a page and knowing what I'm getting. So I'm very, I use the same colors and filters a lot of times. Use your words, not another coach's. As a new coach, we can get really sucked into following coaches that we really enjoy and are motivated by and inspired by, but don't take their hard, thoughtful posts about their specific journey and copy it and put it straight on your page. It makes us look so unauthentic. It starts to make it look like we're all the same, and it starts to make it feel like we don't have our own thoughts and we don't have our own journey to share. So take what you love and are inspired by, but make it your own. Be consistent in when you post, okay? You cannot, it drives me nuts when a new coach signs up and they're like so excited and they post consistently for a whole 2 weeks and then they go missing. And I'm like, where did you go? Like, those were so good the first 2 weeks, but where did you go? Well, I got busy, I didn't have anything to post, I don't know, I just got overwhelmed, whatever it is. Trust me, I am anxious. When I first signed up, I was so overwhelmed. I had fears, I had thoughts that I was not gonna be able to do this, but I posted every day. I showed up and I was consistent. So find when your followers love your posts the most and be consistent. Show up for them. Show up for your business every day. Be an open book and tell your story. Similar to what I've been saying this whole time. Share the good, the bad, the ugly. There's nothing more real and raw when, for me, coming back postpartum, sharing how hard it is to feel like I was in the best shape of my life, to having a baby and feeling like it started all over again with my journey. But that became much more relatable than the girl who had been on the journey for 3 years and didn't have a transformation. So I'm really realizing the importance of always sharing the transformation no matter how far you've come. Oh, she's on it. Here are, so my brand, we talked about filters and stuff. I wanted to share with you guys some things. On the right, obviously a picture of yourself, not your dog. I know a lot of people really love their pets. They can have their own page. Make sure it's yours and that people can see you, because they're not gonna choose your dog as their coach. The one on the left are kind of filters, and what you see is what you get. It's, again, hard to see on here, but I use PicFX almost always to edit my pictures. People will say, what do you use? What Instagram filter? I don't use Instagram's filters very often. I post them, or I get them all crafted in the other app, and then I just post it on Instagram the way it is. So mine have like a similar color to all of them. It's PICFX, PicFX. And in the middle, I just took a screenshot of some of my favorite apps to share with you guys as far as how to edit. Don't over edit. There's also nothing worse than like meeting someone in person and you're like, that is not the same person on social media. Oh man, so don't do that. But some of my favorites are live collage, pick, play, post, photo mirror, if you guys want to mirror your images. Pick FX, like I said, word swag is great for creating like any kind of like text over picture. Facetune, again, great if you want to like take out one wrinkle. Not good if you blur your whole face and everything just looks like a big, I don't know, weird. And then Rana, or Rona, however you say it, Rana Designs. Those are some of the ones I love. And make it simple, make it memorable, make it inviting to look at, make it fun to read. That's, again, another quote from the book. Okay. Jabs versus hooks. So in the book, he talks about creating content that allows us to kind of share our experiences, our thoughts, our ideas in real time. And that is the coolest part about Facebook changing, is the Facebook Live. If you guys have not, gotten into the live, I will tell you, I spoke with Arnold at corporate. I told him that's one of my biggest things that I don't want to do with my business is go live. I'll do it in my team page all day. I'll do it all day on my likes page because I feel like for whatever reason I don't know, why do I not care about that? But my personal page is my issue. So he gave me a challenge to go live much more often, and we started with something silly like the Bean Boozled game. My daughter loves that weird game with the jelly beans that have like the nasty flavors. It's like you either get barf or you get chocolate pudding. And so we did something simple like that, and it gets people engaging on your stuff. It doesn't have to be just fitness. It can be whatever, but it helps with your traction. So start with something silly and simple like that if you are someone who is fearful of it the way that I was. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what a jab is and a hook is, let me just tell you that really quickly. A jab is what it aims to engage and trigger the emotional response. This is what he talks about in the book. And then it's similar to telling a story. The climax and the punchline is not going to matter at the end of the day if there's no power, if you don't have any action before it. So no one is going to be hooked. No one is going to want to trust you. No one is going to want to join your challenge. No one is going to want to follow you if you're not giving them some sort of value and some kind of jabs in between. So think about that as far as like what's a jab and what's a hook. With your business, there is no sale without telling the story, and no knockout, as he says, without first setting it up. So I wanted to give you examples of what you can do to set up some little jabs, or what I call jabs, and I pulled them from my page. The first one, and obviously here we are not being able to read anything. I was at a leadership or superstar weekend in California, and this is a picture of me at the coffee shop. I was sitting there having a conversation with my husband, and I just shared, how crazy it is had I said no again to my coach when she asked me to coach, and how different our life is now, and how thankful I am for our coaching community and everything. And that's kind of how I started jabbing and just throwing in what they call sprinkling or breadcrumbing coaching. On the right, I gave a recipe. Well, no, I showed a yummy treat, and I said, do you want the recipe? And I didn't give the recipe right away. So I was asking a question, I was having them engage, and then of course I shared, okay, here's the recipe, it's over on my blog. But I didn't do that until I allowed for the post to gain traction first. A few more jab examples. So the one on the left, I just did the ultimate reset. So intimidated to do that. Great program, by the way, if you're looking to do something 21 days, incredible results in a short period of time. But I was on my way to church, and I was thinking about everybody that has all these excuses as far as not having time. And I was literally like just shoveling my face with my food that I had to prep ahead of time, 2 kids in the back crying. And I was just sharing about my update, and I didn't say how many pounds or inches I lost, but I hashtagged mama is down a few pounds. And so I had people asking about that on my page. I left a little bit to the imagination. That's the point. Same thing with the middle post. I took my measurements, and before I shared them, I let everybody know that I took my measurements. And I said I was really, really excited. Do you want to see my progress? I asked them a question and I asked them to engage. On the right, here was the other thing I always got. I don't have time. I can't meal prep. I don't like the food. I hate tempeh. I can't make sushi. Weird stuff is on the ultimate reset. I hated the tempeh, and I told my followers that was disgusting. But I talked here about a simple plate. For people who are on the reset in a crunch, there's an option. And people don't know that if they've never done the reset. So I shared with them, here's something you can do if you are short on time. And that really got a lot of people interested because they thought, oh, I didn't even know that existed, and they are all asking about it. So let's move on to the hooks, okay? So we've thrown in jabs, we've breadcrumbed. Now it's time to hit them with the hook. So the hook, we want to make a call to action simple and easy to understand. You want to make it easy to see on a mobile device, because here I am like reading my slides from the mobile device. And they respect the feel of the social network that you're posting. So your content should be different across different levels. What works on Instagram may not work on your personal page. So make sure you think about that when you're thinking about your hooks. And here are some hook examples. On the left, okay, that's me and my coach, Stephanie Chico. She's pregnant, so if there's any pregnant coaches out there, follow her, she's amazing. That was us at Leadership last weekend. And I basically just talked about our story, how we met, how I started coaching, why I loved it. Again, I was sprinkling in coaching because I was gonna start a 3-day glance into coaching 2 days after I got home. So I was starting to talk about it, and I was talking about the community and the friendships that were built. The one on the right is a little more out there, okay? So this is one where I actually am like calling you to action. Do you want to be the next transformation? Here's how you get in touch with me. Here's how I used to think. I used to say, you know, she looks awesome, but I don't have that body type. I can never look that way. There was a lot of things that you think. So think about things you thought in your head before you started and share those things, because a lot of people who haven't started on their own personal fitness journey are feeling that way right now. And if they resonate with what you say, they're going to feel a connection with you, and they're more likely to join you. All right. And ways to build your platform. So I literally went into my diamond page. Okay, we've got a group of us who are diamond and above on our team, and there was about 115 people in there, and I said, if I can't get good ideas from you guys, I don't know who I'm going to get them from. So can you share with me, if you could tell Super Sunday attendees do's and don'ts of social media, what would they be? And it's going to be hard to read there, but I'm gonna share with you do's first and then don'ts. I won't share them all. Again, you're going to get the slides, but do share your story, your transformation all the time. Do share your heart and be true to you. Do have good lighting and invest in editing apps. Share pictures that include your face. Engage with your audience. Don't post and run away. Always come back and comment and engage with the people who are commenting on your stuff. That's why they're there. Do experiment with best times to post for your audience. And this was great. A person in their early 20s is probably going to have a different post time or target audience than someone in their 30s, 40s, 50s. So think about your audience specifically. Do post and walk away, even on the scary posts. And I share that all the time. When I first started, I would post something, shut the computer, have a glass of red wine, and walk away, because I was very nervous. So let them know everybody starts somewhere, everybody feels that way in the beginning. Let's talk about some of the don'ts. So if this is you, here we go. Don't get caught up in the likes. We've all had a post that we thought was so good. We spent all this time on it, and then all of a sudden we're like checking every 5 minutes for likes. Don't do that. Don't get yourself caught up in that. People are watching before they're going to start liking and commenting. Just like Joe said when we were doing our VIP panel earlier, he was saying, you know, I think someone doesn't see it, and then they come to church and they're like, oh my gosh, I saw your video today, it was great. So don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in the comments and the likes. That's not what you're doing it for. You're doing it to inspire someone that's watching. And you can inspire someone without them liking it or commenting on it. So do it anyways. Don't think to yourself what they will think. Instead think, how will this help one person? Think about it that way, and if you can think about it that way, it's going to be much easier for you to post. Don't get caught up in arguments and drama on social media. The election is coming up. Just think about your posts. I know that we all have a stance, everybody has a stance, but if you're gonna make a stance, make it funny. You know, get it in a way where it's not like gonna cause an argument on your page and then people are gonna unfriend you and block you. It's not good. And don't necessarily respond to negative comments. It's your page, so if you want to delete those, do that. Don't feel afraid to do that. And then 2 other things: don't ever post your link, and this person said like ever. And then don't share stock photos. Okay, so the link is there for you to share with someone when you've had the conversation going and they're ready to go, and you're in a private message. So that's where you share that. And the last I will end with is just another one of his quotes, because I love them and him. And your number one job is to tell your story to the consumer wherever they are, preferably at the moment that they're deciding to make a purchase. So you never know when that person is ready, you never know when they're ready to commit, so you constantly need to be sharing your story. That's all I got. Again, I will share those slides, and I'm sure Lacey will do the same in the Super Sunday group for you guys.